Good day everyone, my name is Jasmine the Adjuri and today we are going to present our topic about the Republic Act 9262 or the violence against women and their children. So along with my partner, Mr. Risa Hakim, we are going to tackle about this topic. So what is Republic Act 9262 or the Anti-Violence Against Women and Their Children Act of 2004. It is a Philippine law protecting women and their children from the physical abuse, sexual abuse, and psychological abuse, and also the economic abuse by their intimate partners. So it provides legal remedies like protection orders and penalizes offenders, including their ex-partners. It is also, or it's a Philippine law that protects women and their children from abuse and violence in their relationships. So it makes it illegal for a husband or partner or boyfriend also the ex-partner to physically, emotionally, and sexually or economically abuse a woman and her child. So this law exists because women have the right to be safe and free from violence, discrimination, and abuse at home and in their relationships. So, the important features of Republic Act 9262 is number one, four types of violence are covered, like the law defines abuse as not just physical hitting. So it also includes physical hurting the body and psychological hurting emotions and mental health like threats or insults, and also the sexual forcing like sexual acts. So also it includes the economic or controlling money to make someone dependent on them or dependent on their partners. And VOCI is a public crime. This means it's not just a private family problem. Anyone who knows about the abuse can report it to the authorities, not only the victim. And also, the protection order under Republic Act 9262 is a protection order. It is a court order that stops the abuser from hurting the woman and her child again. So its main goals or the VOCI goals are to keep the victim safe from further violence. And number two is to avoid major disruption to the victim daily life like work or school, and also help the victim become independent and regain control of her life. So it is a legal shield that the court can give to protect the victims while their case is ongoing.
So, good morning, everyone. Before I proceed to my assigned topic, I would like first to introduce myself. I am Larissa A. Hakim from Bitilet ICT 3C. So, the first one is the prohibition of the respondents or the perpetrator from threatening to commit or committing personally or through another any of the acts penalized by the anti-Bawsi law. So, here, it means that there is no threats or violence. So, the court will order the perpetrator to stop threatening or committing any violence act covered by the Bausi law. So, the second one is prohibition of the respondent from harassing, annoying, telephoning, contacting, and otherwise communicating with the petitioner or the victims or the survivors through directly or indirectly. So, this means no contact or harassments. The court will order all the perpetrator to stop contacting and harassing the victim. So the third one is removal and exclusion of the respondents from the residence of the petitioner, whether temporary or permanently. So this means the court will order or the court can order to the perpetrator to be removed and to keep out of the victim's residence. So the fourth one is directing the respondents to stay away from the petitioner and any designated family or household member at a distance specified by the court. So, meaning stay away or distance. So, the court can order to the perpetrator to stay away from the victim or any family members. So, the fifth one is directing lawful possession and use by the petitioner of an automobile and other personal effects regardless of ownership. So, it allows the victim to use the certain things such as automobile and any personal belongings. 6. Granting a temporary or a permanent custody of a children to the petitioner. Basically, the court awards the legal care and responsibility of the children to the victims or survivors, either temporarily while the case is being processed or permanently, to ensure that the children are safe and well cared. Next, directing the respondents to provide support to the women or the children if entitled to legal support. So, the perpetrator is ordered to give financial assistance to the victim and their children, as required by the law, to cover their basic needs such as foods, clothing, education, and daily living expenses. 8. Prohibition of the respondents from any use of possession of any firearm or deadly weapon, and order him to surrender the same, including revocation of license and disqualification to apply for any license to use or possess a firearm. So, the perpetrator is forbidden from using, keeping, or owning any guns or dangerous weapons. They must hand over any weapons they have. Their license to own firearm is cancelled, and they are not allowed to apply for a new one. To prevent any harm to the victim. 9. Restitution for actual damages caused by the violence inflicted, including property damage, medical expenses, and loss of income. The perpetrator must pay the victim for all losses and harm caused by the abuse. This covers like damaged property, medical bills for injuries, and money the victim lost because they could not work due to the violence. And the last, directing the Department of Social Welfare and Development or the DSWD or any appropriate agency to provide temporary shelter and other social services that the petitioner may need and the provision of other forms of relief as may be necessary to protect and provide for the safety of the petitioner. Now, the government agency or the DSWD is required to give the victim a safe or temporary place to stay and other support services they need, such as counseling or medical help. The court can also order to other measures to make sure the victim is fully protected and secured. So there are also rights of victims or survivors of BOSI cases under RA 9262 specify the following as the rights of the victims or survivor. So under Section 35, rights of victims, in addition to their rights under existing laws, victims of violence against women and their children shall have the following rights. So the first one is to be treated with respect and dignity. They must be treated fairly, with honor, and without humiliation by anyone. Second, to avail of legal assistance from the Public Attorney's Office or the PAO and the Department of Justice or any public legal assistance offices. So they can get free legal help from government offices even if they have no money for a lawyer. Third one, to be entitled to support services from DSWD and the LGUs or the local government units. So they can receive help like shelters, counseling, and other support from government agencies. The fourth one, to be entitled to all legal remedies and support as provided for under the family code. So they can all use all the legal solutions and protections stated in the family code to address family related issues from the violence. The last one is to be informed of their rights to apply for a protection order. The right to privacy of the victim is also provided in the law, and its violation is punishable and imprisonment and fine. So they are told about their right to get a court order for their protection. Their privacy is also protected, and breaking this rule leads to jail time or fines. So that will be all for my assigned topic. I hope you learned something. Thank you.